Brussels, the European capital. This former textile factory is David van Rijbroek's refuge, a place to reflect and to write. His book on the colonial history of the Congo is a modern classic, translated into many languages. Though van Rijbroek officially studied archaeology, he sheds light on today's pressing questions through capturing the stories of ordinary people.
I think that my books start with listening. I don't think anything makes me happier than interviewing people. These are thoroughly human moments of encounter and exchange across generations very often, across experiences, across continents, and all of a sudden being very moved by what somebody tells you and understanding the perspective 70 years later.
70 years after Indonesia declared its independence from the Netherlands, van Rijbroek set out on a journey to meet people, listen, and collect memories of the colonial era.
They come by boat, by prau.
He recorded conversations with over 200 eyewitnesses and then started writing. The entire project took 6 years.
Ideally, you would learn the language, learn the history, do your first trip, do a second trip, start interviewing people, work for 2 years, and then start writing for 3 years. I mean, that would be the logical process. But this is not how it goes. I had to hurry so much for the Indonesia book. I found witnesses talking about the 1920s and the 1930s. And I now realize I've been the last one who's been able to talk to many of these people. And at a given point, I realized if I go on like this, traveling through the archipelago, if I go on working at this speed, I will never get as old as my witnesses.
Indonesia. The struggle for freedom there permanently changed the world's political map. On August 17, 1945, President Sukarno reads out the Proklamasi, the Declaration of Independence. It sent a strong signal to the colonies of Asia and Africa. They would unite at the 1955 Bandung Conference to demand a fairer world order. For historian Bonnie Triana, van Rijbroek is one of the first to document the key role Indonesia held in the process of decolonization.
David gives a new perspective and a new approach on how we see history. He connecting Indonesia to the world history. So hopefully this book will give awareness to the people, and they will be proud to know, of course through David's works, that Indonesia contributes an important role in making a new world.
Van Rijbroek travels all over the world, always with notebook in hand. But whenever he can, he goes back to his hometown, Bruges. This year, David van Rijbroek is receiving the Goethe-Medaille for his contributions to political discourse. His 81-year-old mother, however, sees no reason to make a fuss.
He's won many awards. But what makes me most proud is his good character. David remains true to himself, never condescending, always humble, kind, reserved, and socially engaged.
A wild meadow behind the house, Van Rijbroek's favorite childhood place. To him, it symbolizes what's at stake in the climate crisis. For his current book, Van Rijbroek spent 8 weeks on a container ship bound for the Congo to scrutinize the mechanisms of the fossil fuel industry, the brutal interventions in fragile natural environments that urgently need protection.
We are considering the future in the same way as we have considered continents in the past. Continents have become centuries, and we think that what's there ahead of us is up for grabs, regardless of the needs of people who are going to live there in the future. We are behaving exactly in the same way as we did in the 18th century when exploiting Africa or Southeast Asia whatsoever. We do as if nobody is living there.
He has a loyal ally at his side, Haja Labib. Together, they've co-hosted a cultural show. Each has a passionate commitment to climate action, which Labib sees as essential to protecting the world from crisis and conflict. The former journalist is now the EU Commissioner for Equality and Crisis Management. David van Reybrouck remains a close friend, trusted advisor, and critical source of inspiration.
For me, David is one of the most impactful intellectuals of this period. And what is magical with him is that he's an activist not only to criticize the system, but to find ways to improve it, create a debate, and to put the thing further. You know, let's find a way. We know that our democracy is not perfect, but how we can perfect it.
With his G1000 project, he empowered citizens to participate directly in democracy, an idea that resonated around the globe. Here in Eupen, eastern Belgium, it's already become reality through citizens' councils randomly selected by lottery. A return to responsibility and grassroots politics.
I'm extremely happy that when I heard the news about the Goethe-Medaille, that it was not just for my literary, my historical books, but also for this democratic activism. Because it's one of the leading battles of my life, I guess, trying to salvage democracy before it's too late. And it's work which is sometimes much more difficult than writing. Writing it's complex, but you're on your own. But improving democracy and strengthening democracy and making democracy more resilient is collective work.
Genuine listening. It's David van Reybrouck's most powerful tool. He remains a seeker, a voice of warning, at times a man in despair, but also one who inspires hope.